Hello everyone, I hope that you're all having a great day. I'm glad to be bringing you another video. So today I wanted to share with you a story that's overlooked in the movie. The story comes from The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view book. Stay tuned to the end because there's an interesting fact about Luke in there. So without further ado, let's jump in. This wasn't the worst wound that 21B, the surgical droid, had seen. In fact, this was one of the simplest wounds he had cared for. The patient's vitals were remarkably stable and the patient seemed calm. At further inspection, 21B could tell that the patient's muscles were tensed and his heart rate was elevated. He had to be in pain, but lucky for him, the lightsaber had cauterized the wound. This was the nice thing about Jedi and Sith combat. There wasn't any blood. I shall begin by cleansing the wound, removing the dead and cauterized tissue, and testing your nerve endings for compatibility with the cybernetic attachment. After that, I will apply Bacta to ensure successful synergy, Commander. 21B said as he was gathering his instruments. Luke said nothing and stared forward at the interior of the ship. 21B thought this to be weird, since most patients like to look out into space at the X-Wings flying by and at the nearby proton star. 21B turned his head to see what Luke was staring at, thinking that Leia would be there. He didn't see her, he just saw a wall of supply compartments. Commander Skywalker, are you in pain? 21B asked. Pain? Luke said, looking up as if he hadn't heard the droid right. Yes, I can give you some painkillers. Luke looked back down at the stump. I don't think they will work on me. Why, of course they will. All humans and humanoids are sensitive to our pharmacologics. No, thank you. Why would you choose to feel pain? That is illogical, 21B said as he stopped gathering supplies and walked towards Luke. It's not that kind of pain. 21B nodded with what Luke had said. He understood the emotional pain he had to be in, but still his heart rate was elevated. There was apparent physical pain, but he chose to suffer through it. Suffering can lead to problems with healing. You must not close yourself off to help, Commander. Suffering leads to more than just that, Luke said as he looked up at 21B, causing him to pause while he was debriding the dead tissue from the wound. I treated you on Hoth. Do you not remember, Commander? Yes, I remember. I asked for you specifically, and please, call me Luke. My apologies, sir. Luke, then, if that makes you more comfortable. Luke nodded. You may not remember, but when you were in Domoshock on Hoth, you resisted within the Bacta tank, too. Only when you agreed to assistance did your healing begin properly. Bacta is a living thing. It needs your cooperation. Luke, he added as an afterthought, making it seem kind of forced. He might have just yelled it out a little. Really? Yes. Flesh is flesh, but the will is quite powerful. Time and again, our medical databanks show the strength of the connection between a being's thoughts and the corporeal. The Force. Well, I don't know if our medical databanks call it that. Luke smiled at the comment, relaxing his body for the first time since arriving there. Call it whatever you want, but you're right. 21B goes on to tell Luke that he shouldn't put himself into so many life-threatening situations. Luke answers him back saying that he can't help it, and 21B doesn't understand why he can't. They began to talk about what to expect when Luke gets his new hand. 21B goes on to tell him about the phantom pain he can experience, and how Luke will feel like the hand isn't truly his and that it doesn't belong there. Luke asks 21B if he has feelings and if he would be in pain if one of his cybernetic arms got cut off. 21B tells him that his circuits do have memory, and then he went quiet. He didn't like it when patients asked him about the droid's thoughts and feelings. 21B took out a syringe and extruded the clear gel back onto Luke's arm. Now it was time to attach the hand to the stump. Usually 21B would be done with the task like this by now, but with Luke he went slower, taking his time. Wait, Luke said. Wait? For what? Maybe you shouldn't attach the cybernetic hand. Pardon? Maybe this was meant to be. Maybe I was destined to lose my hand in exchange for something else. In certain cultures, the amputation of a hand is done in exchange for the crime of thievery. But Luke, you have not stolen anything, and our laws do not condone such punishments. It's not that simple. I've made mistakes, Luke said, remembering how he left his training early with Yoda, not being able to save Han because he didn't take the time to stay and learn all that he could. I don't deserve to have it fixed, and maybe I don't need to. If I learn the ways of the Force, one hand alone doesn't matter, right? He said, looking unsure. The Force is not in the repertoire of my medical databanks. Medical droids in the Rebel Alliance are quite responsible for keeping people alive, too, you know. 21B knew that he was programmed to heal, and that was his main function. What he didn't understand is how he grew to care so much. And he did care, because Luke was in pain from many different ways. Don't deserve to have it fixed? All beings deserve to be cared for, to be healed. Luke seemed to be surprised by these words 2-1B said. Moral perfection is no requisite for care. That would be cruelty itself, as no beings are perfect. As for your other comment, there is limited information in my programming on how the Jedi and Sith heal with respect to cybernetic implants. There could be many who live with artificial limbs, and are, as you say, strong with the Force. Sith? Like Darth Vader? Luke said, his eyes widening. I do not know. When the new data is gleaned, we medical droids share our data as a collective. Often the Empire destroys its own medical droids, so I know little of Darth Vader's medical status. However, my understanding is that Darth Vader is heavily incorporated with cybernetic parts. If that is what you are asking, 2-1B said, bringing the cyber hand over to Luke. Father, Luke said quietly. I'm sorry, what did you say? Nothing, Luke said, looking a little repulsed by the hand. All I know is that I can help you, and your friends can help you. After all, when a bone is broken, it requires time to mend, a crutch to lean on. Accepting such assistance is not weakness, nor is it gallant to forego such treatment. Sometimes a harder choice is to accept help. It won't be my hand, though. It's your tool, just as many other things in your world are your tools. A wheel instead of a leg, a mechano lens instead of an eye. What does it matter? There is no shame in this. 2-1B went on to say that doesn't matter what it is, it only matters how you use it. For good or evil, that's how it will exist in his life. Luke looked shocked at the statement 2-1B made, claiming him to be a poet rather than a medical droid. 2-1B was repulsed by this statement, claiming that he will need to speak to his maker to get the matter fixed, and that he would never hear the end of this if his FX assistance droid overheard the conversation. It'll be our secret. Let's finish this, then. Go ahead and attach the hand. 2-1B attached the hand and performed test after test when he began connecting wires to the exposed tendons and nerves, making sure that each finger had blood, nerve, and tendon supply to it. We are nearly finished here. There is only some fine-tuning and final testing to be done. Thank you, 2-1B. It is my duty and my pleasure, he said, leaning in awkwardly towards Luke. May the Force be with you. May the Force be with you, 2-1B. You've helped in more ways than you can imagine, Luke said with a half-smile and feeling relieved. Will I do more than repairing broken things? I am not some simple FX droid. At that moment, Leia, R2, and C-3PO came into the room, and 2-1B could see Luke change. His heart rate slowed down to normal levels of 25 beats per minute. This was a significant change from when Luke came in, but nowhere out of the norm for Jedi. Luke began to talk with Leia and Lando about getting Han back from Jabba. Luke agreed to meet him on Tatooine once they found him and got the coordinates. 2-1B looked over Luke carefully while performing the last pinprick test to make sure that the hand worked. He could see that Luke was well and much happier than before. 2-1B might have even said that he was a man with hope in his heart, if he were a poet, that is. And this is where the chapter ends, and I enjoyed this one a lot. In the movie, we don't get to see this scene in full detail between Luke and the droid. It's pretty cool to see that Luke thought that only having one hand was what he deserved for failing. The scene would have been super interesting to throw, into the movie, but I'm glad we were able to have it in this book instead. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope that you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment your favorite part or something you learned. Subscribe for more content like this. And remember that I hope you all have a great day. Until next time, may the Force be with you.